Hi guys, it's Stephen Edwards from CTA Accountants. So in this week's Profit First Club newsletter, and if you're new to my newsletter, I don't just talk about Profit First. Actually, I talk about lots of other things, but Profit First is a core theme I try to come back to on a regular basis because I'm quite passionate about it and I strongly believe it helps the vast majority of business owners, but I can't talk about it every week. And so this kind of acts as a from the co-face in terms of real stories that happen with Profit First, but also kind of like a business journal. And I'm just sharing with you things that happen in my world, new insights, new learnings. I've just recently been in a mastermind group, so I share whatever's kind of on my mind and hopefully you find it useful. But please let me know if there's anything else I can add. So I thought quite nicely, I'm using Cintra AI that I've talked about in the past to help me summarize in just some bullet points for the sake of this video. The full newsletter, you will be reading it if you're watching this, but this what you're seeing here is just kind of showing you how I'm using something like Cintra AI. You can use ChatGPT, but I like to mix it up. Whatever keeps our energy levels up as business owners definitely helps. So the first one, I try to have 5 points each week. I've nicked it off Tim Ferriss, 5 Bullet Friday. So the first one is big news. I'm actually going to become an EOS implementer. So I'm not going to give you the big spiel if you don't know what the EOS is, but it stands for the Entrepreneurial Operating System. I'm just going to show you really quickly what that is visually, because there's quite a visual element to this. So the EOS system is really broken down into these main 6 segments that help you manage your business. So what really happens in my experience and being around lots of like-minded business owners is a lot of us are making up as we go along to some extent. And then we learn from our experiences, we learn from other people, we learn from mentors, we learn from training. And what's brilliant about the EOS system is it's a plan. It is a kind of a practical manual that any of us can use to run and scale our businesses. I'd say generally speaking, it's probably aimed at people doing 500k revenue and over. You probably ideally want at least 16 members, but I wouldn't necessarily put a restriction on you because it can help most people scale. So I'm getting qualified in the system because there's a big need for business owners scaling their businesses, and they love the EOS system. So I'm going to be trained specifically on that system. Super excited about it, and I'll be able to update you and share some EOS insights in the coming months. Okay, so number 2, which links really nicely into the fact I'm training as an EOS implementer, is don't be pigeonholed in terms of what you were. So I joke a lot of the time that I butterflied into a business owner from an accountant. I started as an accountant and I become a business owner, and I strongly suggest anyone who's watching this, don't ring fence yourself to be your only this. Gary Vaynerchuk says it doesn't need to be or, it can be and. I can be Stephen Edwards, the Profit First Accountant, and Stephen Edwards, the EOS Implementer. You do need to also have focus, and you do need to have the time to do these things. But I'll talk about that in a second. So my next point really that kind of elaborates on that is to keep things simple. And one of our core values is KISS, keep it simple, stupid. So yes, I'm doing more things, but actually it doesn't need to be complex. We've got CTA, which is all about your finances, about Profit First, and about your numbers, your tax. It's all about that stuff. Then we've got the EOS, which is all about scaling a business and teams. So it's not reliant on the owner. And then we've got, which you've probably heard me talk about, the certified high performance coaching, which is about being the best person, the best leader, the best dad, the best friend, being the best person you can be. So there's a simplicity there. We've got the business, we've got the person, we've got the finances. So yes, we can do more. Yes, we can embrace new things, but try and make sure there's synergy. Try and make sure there's kind of simplicity at its core. So just something to think about. And I love contrasting views. I hate it when people are black and white. It's why people fall out over politics so much, because people are not willing to kind of see someone else's view. An intelligent person once told me to find the most intelligent person you know who disagrees with you and have a nice debate with them. So it's nice to have contrasting views. The fourth one, if you're struggling with your finances, I'm going to bring it back to accounting and finance here. If you're struggling with finances, if you've got debt repayments, if you're behind with your PAYE, your VAT, whatever it is, forget Profit First, forget Xero, QuickBooks, Sage, forget complex systems. What I really would advise you to do, I'd love you to do, if this resonates with you right now, is to write it all down on a piece of paper or a spreadsheet, probably ideally a spreadsheet, but it can be a piece of paper. What you owe out, how much you pay per month, and then start thinking about a plan, because the worst thing we can do is to bury our heads in the sand. I promise you, if you're behind with your corporation tax, your VAT, your self-assessment, you will feel a weight lifted off your shoulder if you just write everything down. So that's just something from experience working with lots of businesses. It can really... Why do we want to do that, by the way? One is to offload, but the next thing is we can understand where point A is, and then we can figure out how to get to point B. Profit First actually helps you get from point A to point B, even when you've got lots of debts. We had one business owner pay off 100k in 12 months working with us, so it can have a big impact as well. Finally, just a little software thing. I'm sure most of you have come across this before, and I've heard about it before, but I've only just started using it, and I kind of plug in it. But I also think it's really useful in today's age. If we've got all these different channels, you know, we've got YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, LinkedIn, we've got all these different things going on. So something called Linktree. If you've not used it, you could just put everything in one place. So when you know, for this newsletter, for example, I'm going to share my Linktree. So it's just really handy if you've got lots of different things going on, or you want to point people in a certain direction in terms of getting in contact with you, then this is quite useful. So I thought I'd share that. And I'm actually on the free plan right now, and this took me about 15 minutes to set up. There are some paid options. I've not really explored that yet. Yeah, hopefully that's useful. If anyone wants to chat with me, you can just drop me an email and say, can I have a chat? And I'm more than happy to see if there's anything I or we can do to help you. You can also, the Linktree explains most of the stuff we do actually. You can book a free meeting. I also have the link for a free profit review if that's something you want to look at. But give me a shout if you've got any questions or any ideas for my newsletters. Thanks guys, cheers.